Hello, this is Joel with DexaFit Seattle. Welcome to this video. I'm going to walk you through your DEXA report. So first and foremost, you need to have downloaded the DexaFit AI app. If you haven't done that, do that. You can pause this video and do that now. Once you've downloaded the app, the first thing that you're going to want to do is to set up your account. And you're going to want to use your email address, the same email address that you provided us. That's how your report is going to flow into the app. That's how it identifies you. Any test that you have in our office or any DexaFit across the world will flow into this app through your email. Okay. All right. So once you've done that, you're going to open your app. Across the top, you're going to see a couple tabs. One of those tabs is going to say Body Comp. I want you to click on that Body Comp tab. I'm going to pause the video for a second and I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, so once you've pushed that app, you should see a screen that looks similar to this. All right, so this is just a sample report. This is not your report, obviously, but we can walk through it together. So across the top, you'll see all these tabs here. So the tab that we're looking at right now, when you first open up the app, is our body score page. And this, what it's doing is it's taking some elements from each of these tabs above here, these 5 specific, and we will dive into what each of these are as well, okay? From these, it's going to give you a letter grade. It's also going to give you a scale showing you where are you compared to optimal. And that's how you want to look at this. Down here in the history, you're going to see it's going to have all of your scans. If this is your first, you're just going to have one single dot. But you'll have all that trending in history throughout this report. This is giving you a target or a goal. And I'll come back at the end and show you how you can use this within the app, right? So you also have your image, which you can select and blow up. All the bone is removed from here, but green is lean mass and red is fat. And let's dive in. We're going to jump to our next tab, which is the body fat tab. So in the body fat tab, you will see that we are looking at your total body fat. So you have your percentage here. It's going to show you how many pounds of fat you have. And again, your history will be throughout here. Now, the history looks a little different from here on out. It's going to show you your scan, where optimal is. So how far are you from optimal? You can look at this in pounds or percentages. So you can click either one of those. You can also compare it to a peer group. So total body fat, 22%, 36.3 pounds fat in this case, right? And you'll have your own, of course. Then we're going to look into our torso. So trunk is, we are looking at the fat in your body here from your neck to your hips. And you'll see some symmetry here as well. And then you'll have your total pound. So how much of that total body fat are in your torso area? And we can look at your arms. How much fat is in your arms total, left and right? How much is in your legs total, left and right? Symmetry is more valuable when we're looking at lean mass than fat, though this can sometimes be helpful or interesting as well. So let's go to lean mass. So now you're going to see your total weight of lean mass. So when I'm saying lean mass, we are talking about primarily muscle. We are also including anything that's not fat or bone. So organs, cartilage, tendons are inside lean mass as well. Now, differences from scan to scan is going to show you how much muscle you have gained or lost from scan, because we're not really changing the organs and cartilage and tendons. Yeah. So next, we're going to dive into trunk. So 58 pounds of that are in your torso. You'll see some symmetry here, but remember, we have organs on different side of our body. So the symmetry of lean mass in our torso isn't necessarily super valuable. We're just not necessarily meant to be symmetrical that way. I find more value when we look at our limbs. So lean mass of your arms, you'll have your total, and then you'll have your left or right. And then the same thing with your legs. You've got your total lean mass and the difference between left and right. I'm looking for anything that's over a pound difference. A pound difference of lean mass is going to, look, that could just be some imbalance, some asymmetry that could lead to risks for injuries, falls, and that type of thing. So this is something, and if you don't have an imbalance, this is something to track as body composition changes. Just make sure you're not creating any kind of imbalances. Let's go to our next tab, which is our belly fat tab. All right, so now we're digging a little deeper into the fat on our body. So we have our body is made up of different types of fat. Subcutaneous fat, we're pretty familiar with. This is visceral fat. Visceral fat is the deep fat that's underneath the muscles surrounding our organs. This is what I would call, or think about it in this way, of being the unhealthy fat. So there are essential fats that we need in our body. Visceral fat is not one of those essential fats. So the goal is to get as close to zero as possible. And so here you'll see, where are you at on this scale? What's your total pounds of visceral fat? And then how far away are you from being in this best range, safe range, or where are you at, right? And again, our goal here is to see if we can start improving this. Let's go to the next tab, which is our AG ratio. That stands for android gynoid ratio. So we're looking at that fat in our torso again, right? The total body fat in the torso region. And now we're dividing it into two sections. So android is your midsection. Gynoid is your hips, butt, inner thighs, or your lower section of your torso or trunk. The reason we do this is there are higher health risks, metabolic disease, type 2 diabetes, etc., if we are distributing more of that fat in the upper area of our torso or our android region. So it's healthier to be storing more fat in our gynoid region. And so that's why we look at this ratio. So a ratio of 1 would be that you're evenly distributing fat between your android and gynoid. And the goal is to get under 1. And you can see here that ideally somewhere between 0.6, 0.8 is probably ideal. All right, let's go to the next tab, which is our bone mass. So now we're looking at, so the T-score is how we define bone density, bone quality. So when we're doing a DEXA scan for bone density, let me just quickly go over here. I just want to show you this. If we were doing a T-score or a bone density scan with the DEXA, we would only be imaging your hips and lower back. Obviously, we're doing your whole body today, right? Because we're doing a total body composition. So what we have provided for you is a total body bone density, right? A total bone density scan. Because we're including some denser bones like our head, denser bones like our legs, weaker ones like our ribs. So I just want to point that out because that T-score can have a deviation from a true bone density score. So that being said, this does give us a pretty good idea of where you are at. Of course, if you're ever concerned with your bone density or a low T-score, you could always take this to your physician and then they could decide if they wanted to do any additional tests. So in this case, right, higher is better, right? So the higher my bone density, the higher my T-score, the better over time. As I age, or as we age, we tend to slide down this scale. -1 would be osteopenia. -2.5 is where the World Health Organization considers the start of osteoporosis. So the higher we can get this now, the better. Our recommendation for holding on to bone density, if not increasing it, because you can increase it, is doing some sort of strength training. And obviously there's genetics components here. There are nutritional components as well. And let's go back to the skeleton page here, which you saw a second ago. You can pull that skeleton up. I have your total skeletal weight. Think of this as your dry skeletal weight, right? So normal, it's between 5 and 7 pounds. So don't be alarmed if this looks light to you. Think of this, we're really just looking at that bone mineral content. We've dried everything else out. Down below here, this is, to be honest, this is something a physician would be more interested in if they were worried about bone density. Again, we have the higher bone densities of our head, legs, and pelvis. There's the weaker ones of ribs. So that's what all these colors are pointing out. These are not warning signs or anything like that. Everybody has the same colors. It's just showing you the denser bones in your body and separating it out by color. Okay. All right. So I think that covers everything. I'm going to go back to your body score page because I did want to show you this. So you see this target here, and you'll see across the top, if I look through here, you're going to see the learn more under each one of these. So just as an example, I'm going to click the learn more on this body fat percentage. And you can see here, it's in this case, it's recommending decreasing body fat percentage by about 7%. So let's just go into learn more and hit change target. And that's going to display that for you. So now you can see, what would that look like? What would this person's weight be? What would your lean mass need to be? What would your fat mass need to be to get to this? Now, obviously, there's different ways of going about it. So this is just like a suggestion, giving you some ideas of what that could look like. You can also grab, I'm going to grab this top bubble, and I can move, you can move these bubbles wherever you want. So maybe you're like, look, I want to get to, you can set it wherever you want. Maybe it's 17%. Yeah, kind of like that. And you can see, well, what would my weight be at that weight? It's suggesting a lean mass gain here, but yours will be different, right? You see, it's not, if I move body fat percentage, lean mass is not going to move, right? It doesn't want you to lose lean mass, but I could set this, I could move lean mass separately to wherever I want as well, and get an idea of what that looked like. So this is just a way of setting some goals, getting some understanding of how these things work together. You can always hit reset, it'll take you back. And of course, you can do the same thing within each one of these. All right, I think that covers everything. I'm going to stop that. And we're back. All right. So thank you very much. And I hope that covers your report. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. Have an excellent day.